Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check. Mic check, waifu. Telle, is that you?
Whoa there, bro there.
This is episode 253 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. It's where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. This is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story, the conversational Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. Get access to Mic Check mangas and Mic Check take talks and all kinds of content over on patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. We couldn't do this without the Patreon producers that support us on Patreon. And I want to give a special shout out to one of our new Patreon producers, Maizer Altor. I said it right the second time. Thank you so much for joining us over on Patreon and joining the Discord and being part of our community. We appreciate you. It means a lot to us. Maizer is a Twitch streamer, so make sure you check out his Twitch streams. He streams on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. CT. He streams a bunch of anime content over there. So Maizer_Altor is his Twitch handle. So twitch.tv/Maizer Altor. One day I'm going to get back in my streaming bag. I promise. But shout out to you for joining us on the Patreon producer tier. We appreciate the love and support you're giving us, and joining the community as a brand new supporter. We appreciate you. He also mentioned that in the Mic Check Discord. He also mentioned that he appreciates the Polow and Telle ass anime, and he's glad to have found some like-minded people like us, and we appreciate that because I'm glad he understands what that term means already. That means a lot to us, but. Shout out to the rest of the Patreon producers, Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk Podcast, Saphir, Johnny from Shogo Ha, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture, Explicitly, All for One Matt, Monique Williams, Nachi, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. We appreciate y'all for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. Couldn't do it without y'all. We did just drop the After Story 75, which is the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef discussion. We dropped that all for Patreon supporters. So it's up for Patreon right now, but tomorrow is when you guys are going to hear this. It's going to be free for everybody on our Patreon. So go to patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. You don't have to support us. It'll be free. It's pinned at the top of our Patreon, so you'll be able to listen to that conversation. On Wednesday, we had to give early access, obviously, to the Patreon supporters who've been showing us love. So make sure you guys check out that conversation. Yeah, we got a bunch of other conversations and content coming up there as well. So stay tuned for that over on patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. Okay. It's midterms.
Yeah.
It's the midway point of the season. Every season we do a midterms to determine to get our get everybody's gut checks on how they feel about this season so far. It's always a good time to figure out what's our gauge at with the shows we're watching and how we feel about the season overall, and even some individual shows. We're going to bring in some people who always give their grades during the midterms and share them with you guys. Make sure you guys join our Discord though. Go to miccheckwaifu.com and then hit the About tab and hit the Join Discord button and join us over there for the conversations. They're fun. And it's where you can be a part of the show as well. The best way of being a part of the show.
Also, that website is extremely beautiful. It's pretty.
Thank you. A nice little simplistic update that just happened to it recently. So we appreciate everybody for showing us love. Now, before we get into that though, I got to figure out how you feeling, brother?
Yo, I'm real good, bro. I feel like I almost ran it and talked too much in the beginning.
Little pre-show.
like I told Polow, I had an energy drink, which honest enough, I normally don't really drink too many energy drinks once in a while. But about 4 hours ago, and my mind is still extremely clear. I don't feel energized, but I feel clear. So I do have a lot of energy. And I told him if I act a little loopy, it's because it's late. It's late
as hell.
So I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's been a really good week. You know, obviously, we just finished Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Spent that time with my wife and talked to my mom. Actually had a real good conversation with my mom this week. You know, I love talking to my mom. I miss her every day. But she fills my wife and I and my kids and I with so much love that it makes it okay to be far from home.
Exactly.
And not necessarily far from home, because this is my home, but it's like far from what I'm used to. So yeah, a shout out to moms. I love mom so much. And you know, Polow, I love your mom too, bro. I miss all of them.
She doing good. I talked to her too. She was just telling me she's a worry wart. So she's like, make sure you be careful. The weather out here is bad. I'm like, Mom in Austin, and I'm perfectly fine. Ain't nothing going on up here. Yeah. she's such a worry wart. It's great though. I love her.
That's what moms do.
Yeah, man. But I'm feeling good. Other than that, man, I've had a good week outside of some car stuff. Get my car looked at finally.
I'm sorry.
It's never fun, bro. It's never fun,
bro.
I know, right? But other than that, man, it's been great. I've been having a good time. I'm about to seriously get back into streaming though. I had a good conversation with the boys yesterday in Discord, and they sort of convinced me to just do it like I used to, and I keep stopping every time. I'll be like, be so close, and I just stop. But
yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's a mental thing though, you know. It's always been a mental thing when it comes to streaming for me, and I've been doing it for a very, very long time. For those of you who already know, long time.
I always say, because I really have enjoyed Polow streams over time, and I find it extremely hilarious because I'm an extremely sociable person in person. But I've always said I find it so hard to do the streaming because
I'm the opposite.
The camera, it don't feel as natural as I can be a talkative person in person, bro. I will yap all day. But like the streaming part of things is so hard for me. It's so and I have felt more comfortable doing it since doing this though, oddly enough. Not oddly enough, because when I first got here, the first job I got was through a online interview, and I realized how comfortable I was talking to the camera at that time, even though it's not necessarily what I'm used to. And I think the last time I streamed, I actually felt extremely comfortable too, because nobody was there for the first 5 minutes. I'm sitting there just blah 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 talking to myself. It's a talent, bro, and I applaud you, Polow, for doing it. And I also applaud you for even feeling ready to step back into it, because you know what I mean, I think you should. As a brother and a supporter, but it all comes at your own time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's more of an after story conversation we'll probably have next week. But let's get into this anime, bro. What was your episode of the week this week?
It's gonna have to go with this is gonna go with my statement later, but it was Heat Week. So
really,
at least for me it was. I don't know about you, but for me it was a lot of heat this week. At least in my opinion. Goodness gracious. I am going to go with as a reincarnated aristocrat.
Wow, a flop. Because that was mine last week, and now it's yours this week. That's clean. I like that.
Yeah, and I say
was a great
that
episode
because it was too easy to pick Jobless Reincarnation. So I am going to go with Reincarnated Aristocrat this week.
You know what? I'm going to go with Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. I think this is one that I have, even though it's from last season, okay? And I know we don't usually like to do this, but I need to bring up this show only because of the simple fact is it's not getting enough love from the public or our circle views, I should say. So Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2. It was episode 18 to be specific. Was phenomenal. Was a great episode. I think this show, it's it's about to get crazy. I know I keep saying that because of the build up. It's been building up to something, but it's about to get to that point where it's about to tip over finally, and he about to go off. And that's all I'm gonna say there without spoiling anything.
You know what I hate, bro? And I know we've talked about this already. I was caught up on that until this season started, and they did the weird switch, because that was like episode 12 I was on, and then the season did this switch, and all of a sudden everything I was watching just kind of fell off my list, unless like. So Tsukimichi Moonlit for Fantasy was one of those I was supposed to continue watching, but it's not on my list, so I literally forgot to watch it.
Yeah, so for AniList, it fell off and then it popped back up for me too. Like I know exactly what you're talking about when that happened too.
Yeah, that one didn't pop back up for me though, so I might have to go back in and re-click it, because I literally keep meaning to go back and rewatch it because it was getting so good. And I know 100%. Like if you said it was heat this week, I know it was.
Yeah, it's just getting better. So I figured I'd put that there. It's great episode. Now, to move on to the crux of the show, we're about to go through a lot of shows and give our grades, share some grades on Twitter and through our forum on our Discord. I kind of want to start off with Twitter, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go to Crystal, longtime supporter of ours, a good friend of ours. She says, overall, I give the season a B. There are some shows that aren't hitting as hard for me, but there are some amazing, unexpected shows that help balance everything out. So she gave it a solid B. Now, that is quite in line with where I am, right? Because when we talk midterms, I have to remember the fact that there are quite a few shows that I actually dropped this season. I dropped more shows this season than I did last season. And last season we had twice as many shows. Like, yes, sir. So just thinking about that. And then I got to take into consideration also that there are shows that I'm not particularly watching right now that are on the binge list. So I don't know how they are. So I kind of have to grade my season slightly different because I guess strictly what I'm watching and what I've dropped so far. And that's where I'm pretty much at. I'm pretty much at where Crystal is when it comes, not as far as grades, but as far as overall feeling of the show. I mean, of this season shows, I should say. Because the shows I thought that was going to be fire end up being poo-poo.
Yeah. And I think that I'm kind of in a similar place where I think that the season as a whole might be a solid B, maybe even like a B minus, because I'm thinking about there are some things I've dropped, some things I want to go back to. So maybe it's like a B minus in that area. So I can definitely agree with that.
Our guy, Infamous Brave, we haven't heard from him in a long time, but he gave scores. I'm gonna go ahead and convert these scores into grades. But he just basically said, from what I watched, Kaiju No.8 is an A, Windbreaker is an A, Jobless is a B plus, Konosuba is a D, or a D. And that's from what he's watched so far. So I would give that about a B minus, probably, where he is for the overall season so far. He only watched a few. But
it's leaning mostly towards the top on there, but that D is heavy.
That D is heavy. I still haven't touched Konosuba yet. That's a part of my binge list. So, and then we got somebody who's following us. Actually, you know, we usually get somebody that don't follow us, that give grades. But just one person says, Mission Yozakura family tier A, aka S tier, aka 10 out of 10, aka 5 stars, aka A plus. So that's his name is Sacred Hero 15. Mm-hmm. Not too familiar with him, but I know he seems to be a Mission Yozakura fan.
Hey, we appreciate you.
We appreciate your input. Let's go to Discord, because I think Discord is a very important place we should bring people into.
All right, so open up full view real quick.
I got Rob Stones. Rob Stone is a Patreon producer.
Go ahead.
I have his pulled up. I don't know why his is showing white, but I digress. Let's fix that.
I'm looking. I only get the name. I'm trying or K. I'm trying to get the full name on here.
Yeah. It's because we're in. I got it up here. It's Rob Stone though. Rob says, my grade so far is A for Aristocrat, Windbreaker, and Spice and Wolf. A- for Kaiju, Yatagarasu, and Go-Go Loser Ranger. B+ for Unnamed Memory. And then B for Oblivion Battery, which is the sports one that neither one of us are watching, unfortunately.
I am watching it, and I also think it's good.
Oh, okay. Can't rank Jellyfish yet due to it's only being episode 2, and everything else I'm watching as is either a continuation or I'm catching up on the current season. A- is for the overall season. He says, really enjoying this season. I've cut out the shows I didn't enjoy and left with a lot of them, a lot of great shows. But the only thing holding it back from being an A season is that I don't think any of the shows will go down in my top tier at the moment. But this could change. This could change over in the second half of the season. And I'm watching dub, so he's behind on Windbreaker, Rob Stone says.
Yeah,
I can't wait to catch up on Windbreaker.
Yeah, that Windbreaker is something else. But the Oblivion Battery, I actually do think it's pretty solid as a sports anime. But it's not the sports itself that drives it. It's the competition amongst the characters and conversation. I would give it like a B- or B. Okay. I don't think it's bad by any means. It's good. That's all.
And overall grade though, Rob Stone, an A- is pretty damn good. So you should be quite proud of that one. You want to take Maizer's for me? Another one of the Patreon producers, Maizer Alter.
All right, Maizer said, okay, so here we go. My midterms. Demon Slayer won't count, but the first episode gets an A, obviously.
Yes.
Jobless Reincarnation, A+, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Reincarnated Aristocrat, A, facts. Duke of Death, Polow, this for you, B.
Love it.
Newgate, B. Kaiju 8, A+. Slime, B. Archdemon, B. Bartender, A-. Seventh Prince, B+. Tsukimichi, A-. Level 2 cheat powers, A-. Remonster, A. God's Game, C. Overall season, A-. It is a fantastic season. I dropped a couple shows early on, and there are several that I just haven't gotten to due to time. Oblivion Battery, Spice and Wolf, A Condition Called Love, Unnamed Memory, Dragon Raja, Grandpa and Grandma, Viral Hit, Yatagarasu, Go-Go Loser Ranger. Goodness gracious. Okay. And some I am saving to binge. My Hero Academia, The Regular Magic High School, Konosuba, Misfit, Demon King Academy. The ones listed are ones I have watched and are currently on there. There's some pretty great stuff this spring. Oh, wait, I think is that spring? I'm sure even more of it. Oh, we are. Do we start? This is still spring. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I am sure even more of it is waiting for when I get some time to sit down and binge a bit and to get caught up. I've been telling people the last couple of years that we are in a golden age for anime, which has actually kind of been
that's a fact.
We have been saying these seasons are being tougher and tougher to go back and watch though because it's too good. And this season is proof of that. Now to put in for some PTO and get to work on the rest of these shows.
I know that's right. So interesting that he put. I want to make sure we mention this. He put B for Slime because it's a slow start, but it's getting there. I don't think it's a slow start for Slime at all. I think the political stuff in Slime is just as important as any fight that they ever throw up. And in the same with Archdemon, he says the most recent episode kept it from being a C. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But yeah, I mean, his list is pretty accurate, minus how we feel about Seventh Prince being a little bit more objective. Mm-hmm. I love it, man. Both these lists are great. Rob Stone, I think once Rob Stone get caught up on Windbreaker and Jellyfish, it might be even higher for him as well.
Yeah, because those. I mean, at least for I believe they're both A's for both of us, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for both of us, those are both top of the list for this season, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And the condition called Love for Maizer.
Yeah, and those are ones that you should definitely sit down and enjoy when you get the chance, obviously.
Right. Now, to go to some individual shows real quick, I will say, starting with our sleepers, I am very, very, very stoked about both of our sleepers. Bartender being yours and A Condition Called Love being mine's. So I'm gonna start off with mine first, and then we're gonna flip. So, okay. A Condition Called Love for me. I enjoy the show so much. Mm-hmm. It keeps sending me down this, and what I love about Slice of Life, and I talk about it all the time. So for those of you who listen to 250 some odd episodes. You're gonna hear this again. But what I love about Slice of Life is the emotion that it causes within me as a person, right? From a consumer of the art form. It invokes so many different emotions because it's 1 minute I'm upset, 1 minute I'm mad, 1 minute I'm conflicted, 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sad. And in this particular show, I'm all of that almost every episode. Like, I don't know what to feel. And if you got me feeling like I don't know what to feel while I'm watching your show, that means your show is really fucking good. That means I'm actually so invested in your show that I care so much about characters and situations and just the detail of it all that I'm conflicted. And that's what makes a good slice of life for me personally. So A Condition Called Love, my sleeper, and Crystal sleeper, funny enough, it gets an A for me. And what about Bartender for you?
So Bartender, especially in this episode, it just gave me, and this is the thing that makes it interesting. Kind of like exactly what you said, like how you feel about Slice of Life. Essentially, Bartender is like a Slice of Life anime, right? But I love and I know this is gonna sound crazy because it's like Monster of the Week, but I love the emotion of the week, the understanding of the week, the debriefing of the week that we get from this. But it still has that underlying story that's still trying to get pushed forward, understanding our main characters and motivations. I can't give it an A.
Interesting.
But I do absolutely love this show. Like, it's so relaxing, bro. It's so relaxing. But I give it a B plus because I feel like there's so much done well on this show, like in terms of like the animation when they get into the crux of like how that's going. Yeah, I'm giving it a B plus, but I do absolutely enjoy this show.
All right, let's go to my thoughts on Bartender and then your thoughts on Condition Called Love. So my thoughts on Bartender is, relatively close to yours. I absolutely love it. I like the whole concept of it and what we learn per week, and not just from a drink perspective, but from a character perspective of the bartender getting to know his patrons. And that's, I think, the crux of it all. He learns so much about his patrons that he's able to make that perfect drink for them for that particular mood, or even just give advice to a particular person at that particular time. And I absolutely love that. And the fact that it's so beautifully edited and just, it looks great. For me, I have to say I'm going to give it an A. And maybe because of, I like A Condition Called Love a little bit more. Maybe A Condition Called Love is an A plus, and then this is like an A minus or something. But that's where both of these fall for me. I love Bartender. It's really good. How you feel about A Condition Called Love, though?
A Condition Called Love, I have a tricky relationship with, and I'm gonna be real. I almost changed my score after listening to you because I do wholeheartedly agree with you. I am so like twisted with emotions watching this. Yeah. I'm so twisted in how this show just kind of sucks you in and into these like characters. And I'm battling with this idea, and I'm still willing to change my score because I really like what you said. Yeah. Because I'm battling with this idea. Like I don't know if I trust this character, but I feel like that's so well done in the writing that it almost makes me want to give it a higher. It makes me want to give it what you gave it, right? Because I feel like my personal opinion of this character makes me want to bring it down. And I'm be real, I gave them both a B plus look like on my scale. But you're right. And I hate that.
It's the emotional investment that you have within it, right?
Yeah, because like you're 100% right. And I was actually battling with that same concept before we got here, but I was hoping I was actually leaning into the fact that you weren't going to say that. and then now I'm thinking about it even more. So I do feel like if I'm being objective here, I do have to give it an A. For overall impact of what like it's doing right now, because this is something that's new to me. I haven't really dived or dove into anime that have done this, right? I'm already relatively I'm not gonna say I'm new to slice of life at this point, right?
Not anymore, yeah.
Years now, right? But this is a subsect of that genre that has now given me a new introduction, and I got to give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A, and I'm gonna even go a step further. I'm gonna give it an A+ from the B+ I was giving it. And the reason I'm gonna do that is literally this right here. How I'm talking to you right now, I was literally talking to my wife about it, trying to explain these characters and the story to her. I'm gonna give it an A+.
I'm shocked she's not watching it with you.
I told her like she can't watch with me because I need somebody to talk about it. I need somebody to talk about it with when I'm not talking to you. So I'm actually going to give it an A+. From the B+ I was going to give it because I wholeheartedly agree with what you said, but also just the fact that I'm talking about it more than I'm talking about other stuff outside of the podcast. So it's got to be that good if that's the case.
And that's a unique take right there. I didn't think about too. Just having that conversation, because I do the same thing. I talk to her about it. Like, listen, this is what's happening. This is crazy. Blah 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 blah. And the fact that I get the response I get is like, but why would she? But why would he? And they're like they're like invested into what
I'm like, baby, this character is just like this. This is what this character is. And then she's like, so this is what his past is like. I'm like, maybe we don't know yet, but this is what it's like. And we sitting here psychoanalyzing characters and breaking it down in relationships, and it's like that. That's why I'm giving it an A+, because I'm literally thinking about the investment I'm spending outside of this podcast that I literally have done for investment talking about anime. And I'm still talking about this one specifically, even with my wife who does not watch anime regularly.
That's such a good point.
So yeah, bro, I'm gonna have to go ahead and slide the A+ in there. My bad.
It's respectable. I get it. And wow, yeah. Coming off the sleepers, the show that we're reviewing at the end of the season came to a surprise to literally all of us. Remember when we did our live show at the end of the month? What was that? Was that April? Mm-hmm. No, that wasn't April. That was March, and did the live show for March.
Yes,
the end of March. So we were looking at this when we were doing our spring preview live episode, and we were looking at Windbreaker like, this might not be that great. We were kind of skeptical on it because of the way it looked in the description we read and blah, blah, blah. But we decided to pick this show as our end of the season review for when it's over to review. So we have to watch it because we were so skeptical, especially me. I will say that I was probably the more skeptical of the two of us. And from our chat as well, because I'm not a shonen guy. I don't like atypical be usual shonen. Shout out to Christian who mentioned that in the Discord earlier today. I'm just not a fan of it. So I was going into this kind of with even lower than tempered expectations. I had low expectations for it. And when I turned it on, and in every episode from the first one to the sixth one now has been spoilers for our review, perfect. Like it's one of my favorite shows this season. If not, it's one of my favorite shows this season. It keeps giving me more and more that when I expect one thing, it does another. Like with this most recent episode, like the way it takes this simple story with these simple characters, but elevates it into this elegant and eloquent way of just fucking telling incredible character beats and just moments of just pure I'm in awe watching this show, especially the animation too. Every fucking time they do anything in the show with anything, it's incredible. Like Cloverworks is putting a whole foot in this damn show, and it's clear. So this one gets an A. It's pretty easily an A. It's one of the best shows this season for sure.
Windbreaker.
Pregnant pause.
So yeah, Polow definitely probably had worse expectations for Windbreaker coming into this.
I definitely did.
But yeah, this show is heat. What do they say? It's the pack, it's gas, it's fire. It's all of that, bro. What's crazy about the show is exactly what Polow said, is the simplicity of it. But I think what's so important about the show is how they show that the characters have dynamic, complex past and things about them, but in a very simplistic manner, right? Our character, who was on stage basically looking like he using Wing Chun, said, well, we call it more like a Maj Podge of fighting kind of thing. And it's like, it's Maj Podge. So you think about Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do, you think about, and it's like they can give these little bit like tidbits of information and expand on the character, talking about a master. So we know the character has some training, master did this. It's very simplistic, like Polow said, but they give you enough information to add the complexities and just see it yourself and then move on. Windbreakers does so much right. And even thinking about like, how many episodes are we in? We're 6 episodes deep, right? And let's be real, we haven't technically done much. We are the second day into the show at this point.
Yeah.
But it feels like we've gotten so much, and that means that the show is doing everything right. So I gotta say, Windbreaker is definitely easy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go into one I'm super enjoying that not a lot of people is talking about, and that's Chilling in Another World with my level 2 super cheap powers. This is, like we say, this is a Polow and Telle ass anime. And when I say I am enjoying it more than I would the typical Polow and Telle ass anime, like this is a show I can recommend, truly recommend to people. A fun isekai with a great cast of characters. And honestly, if I didn't want to give Tsukimichi some love this week, this would have been my episode of the week, only because of what happened at the end of this episode.
Yeah,
shit about to get crazy next week, so that's probably, spoiler alert, gonna be my episode of the week next week, depending on how next week goes. But it's a really great show with a really very cute central cast of characters that is fun to get to know, with a world that's interesting and characters that are super likable. So Chilling in Another World with my level 2 super cheap powers gets a B+ for me.
Yeah, and so I do think that show is also good. It has so many of the factors that we obviously already love. I also give it, I'm gonna give it a B-, mostly because it's like a lot of it is okay.
That's crazy.
It's like mad decent. It's really good in some aspects, and then it's like it's cool. So I definitely think it's better than the average like drivel we might watch or something 100%. Like that we definitely don't want to watch, because it is definitely way better than a C or better than a C. So I'm giving it a B- to go with.
Okay. Train to the End of the World, a surprise show for me. I wasn't expecting to be as interested in this one as I was, or I am, I should say. Again, very unique storytelling here with this one though. Train to the End of the World has some of the most unique world dynamics with this whole 7G thing and the I guess the crazy dystopianness of the world that these people have been living in for years at this point, and they just all seem to kind of be in it now. They're used to it already, relatively quick too, which is something I keep in the back of my mind when I'm watching this show. Like, how are y'all this used to something this drastic in a matter of 3 years or whatever it's been?
Yeah.
So like, this is a story that has me so invested and captivated, and to know what it is when we get further in, it's a little bit slower paced for a very particular reason, I think though. Because they still got a long way to go, and we're already halfway through this when I think about it. So the only reason why this gets a slightly lower score, because I enjoy the show a hell of a lot. But the only reason why this gets a little bit lower grade, which is a B minus for me, is because of they have so much with so little time left, right? Like they're definitely not even halfway to where their end goal is, and we only have 6 episodes left, you know? So pacing is a very important key to our review scale. It's a very important key to us as anime watchers of thousands of anime at this point. And it's a little, I'm a little taken back by the pacing of it, only because of, you know, I see how much we have left, unless they're just milking it.
Yeah. And damn, it sucks that you say that, because I am looking at it and it's like, bro, we definitely need to have some more progress with this show. But this show, it definitely has some very unique storytelling in terms of how it layers and stacks the things as we progress. Like you said, it has been 3 years, and these characters have adjusted to, and we do think about it, 3 years is 1,000 days living in the life that they are living, so they kind of learn to expect the unexpected or whatever. But it's still crazy to think that this is the life that's overcome them, and this is what they're dealing with. And then just to head out into the world, and you get all these crazy circumstances, and then they compile that with, like I said before, how the story progresses, and
great conversation and dynamic. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is a show, I agree, I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I am enjoying. To me, this is one of the highlights of the season.
100%.
I don't hate the pacing, but when you bring it up, it makes me worry as well, because of how it's going. And even this most recent episode, it's like, I mean, there's progress, but is it enough for where we're at? You know what I mean? Halfway through the season. But I mean, if they're not sure they're going to get to season 2, I guess it won't matter too much. But I give it a B+, because I do thoroughly enjoy this show, and I have literally found myself laughing at this show, found myself just enjoying the show, the colors of it, the motion of it, the conversations of it, the friendships of it, the relationships of it in general, the carried on and passing of the continued structure of the show. This is a show that I think very easily, depending on how the end of the season goes, will be like an A show.
100%.
Just right now, I can understand where you're saying with, man, we're halfway through. It's a B+ for me.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's just a B-, but like, it's, again, the conversations between the characters, especially in this most recent episode, is like, damn, it hit very, very hard in a way. It's like, wow, it's always poignant and important within everything they do within the show. It's very intentional. I love that. Moving on past that, a show that I think we both love and we both can agree is pretty great. I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. This got to be one of our favorite ones, I think, both of us this season too. And it's not because it's particularly an interesting story or anything like that, but it's just fun, man. It's so much fun to watch that every time I'm watching it with that omnipotent smile. You know, the smile we used to talk about when we used to watch say Magic Powers Omnipotent. That's how I feel about this one. I just watch it with this smile on my face. It's just so enjoyable. Again, while it's not particularly gonna beat you over the head with any great storytelling, or, I mean, to be fair, there's not even really great character development per se. It's just a super powerful kid doing super dope shit, and it's a lot of fun. So for me, I'm going to think objectively, though. I'm going to take a step back and think about this one objectively and give it a B. I was going to give it a C only for the simple fact is it's not much to it, but a lot of fun. But because I enjoy the look of it, the feel of it, and how happy it makes me feel watching it, I'm giving it a B.
I agree with everything you said. This show is all about, in the words of Polow, his old penis.
Boss.
So, so the reality is that this show is so enjoyable for me. It's this wacky, almost borderline mad scientist kid, bro. That's what it is, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. And it's the passion of like what we see, and it's like it's really cool. It's animated well, it's layered well in terms of how it's designed and how it looks. But Polo is right, bro. Where is this story going? What is the actual pacing of this show? So I'm gonna do what Polo didn't do, and I'm gonna give it a C. But I absolutely love this show. It's a joy to turn on every week. I do wish that I had a little bit more story to it, and it might come after this. You
never know.
But it's literally just about how OP our main character is. And I mean, there is obviously, I don't want to spoil it, but there is obviously something that's about to happen right now in the show, which is actually about to happen in another show we're watching. But it's a C, but it's really good. This is like a C. I would say this is enjoyable. This is 100% C.
100%.
One of the most enjoyable C's we gonna watch.
Yep. It was hard for me to give it a B, but because I enjoy it just that much, I have to. I just have to. Moving on to one that I am going to consider easy grade for me, and I kind of feel how you feel about it. While I enjoy watching it, I can't give it no higher than a C. And that's Mysterious Disappearances. While I think it's a good show, I won't recommend it to everybody. I enjoy it for what it is so far, but it's not much to it that's like really pulling me in. Like when I'm looking at my Annie list and I see that show came on, I think it's where it's placed. It's placed during a time where I only have like Bartender and like Unnamed Memory. Like those are the only two shows I have other than Mysterious Disappearance. So those are the three shows I watch on the day that Mysterious Disappearances come out. So I watch it, but it's not like like if it was a Sunday, I wouldn't watch Mysterious Disappearances, to be fair, because Sunday has some heat. Now with Demon Slayer out too, so it's like it's a C. It's not great, but I'm not liking it. Very middle, right. Mad decent.
You spitting. You got to stop going before me at this point. Shoot. No, so the issue is that 100%, bro. It cannot be compared to. It can be, but Unnamed Memory next to that is, and we'll get there eventually as well. But Unnamed Memory. All right, Mysterious Disappearances, I agree, is a C, and I feel like I give this same score to majority of the horror shows that I watch. Like
usually, right?
Even like what was it? Inspector. While that is a show I definitely enjoyed, it's not really much better than a B minus, maybe C plus kind of area. Which it was a show that I enjoyed, and I imagine Polo enjoyed it as well. Even season 2. Season 2 might have actually been a C plus for sure. But that's kind of where I place this genre, because there's not a lot that that really does this well.
Let me actually you real quick, brother, and it's only because I don't want people to say that you're just wrong, and it's not categorized as horror, so it's mystery supernatural, just to be specific, just to make sure nobody comes in trying to correct you on that, which I feel the same way about that too. Like it's interchangeable.
And I guess what I was speaking of more of was like specifically supernatural, not I was thinking more of this, like, because what was the other show I watched? It was another one where there's like mysterious supernatural creatures following the girl Mitsuko or something like that. It's the
same concept though, right? Because
it's the same concept, and I'm giving it the same kind of score I would give it. Except that one I thought was just interesting because of the character, but this is also like I said, a C. I agree. And it's not that it's bad or anything. I definitely think that certain people will sit down and enjoy it. I am a horror fan, have been since I was like 5 years old. So I will also. Yeah, Supernatural. Sorry, I'll call it horror or whatever. But Supernatural, I am a Supernatural fan. It's something I've been enjoying since I was about 5 years old. So this show is something I have a guilty pleasure for, but a C is objectively where I would say it stands.
And to be fair, like Supernatural and horror in this particular in anime terms are interchangeable. The same way I feel about horror, I'm pretty sure this is the same for you. The same way I feel about horror and Supernatural, I kind of, there is the exact same. Like I feel no different between the two. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're very different genres though, they're very, very different.
They are different. And when I say horror, I do mean Supernatural when I'm saying this, but I also say horror all the time because horror doesn't scare me anymore. So
you should be calling everything Supernatural then, if that's the case.
I guess that's true. It's Supernatural. But I'm not afraid of it, so I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to give you a slight chill, but it doesn't really do that. So you're right. I'm just going to call everything Supernatural because it's whatever.
I'm going to let you go first with Remonster.
Okay, so Remonster, bro. Remonster was one that while I was not expecting... I was expecting to enjoy when I heard the information about it, right? The information I was given saying that this is kind of where Reincarnated Slime kind of got its secret sauce from, which we're not saying it was plagiarized or anything like that. I'm just saying it kind of got a little bit of the idea there, right? Mm-hmm. Now, seeing as to where the show has gone and how things are developing, I definitely had... I hate to say a little bit more expectations for knowing that information precursorily. Like I already knew that was kind of the information I had. But it doesn't take away from the show being enjoyable. I think the show is actually extremely enjoyable in majority of parts of it. And I love where they're getting to where there's actually going to be more civilization speak and driven themes. So currently, as it stands, I'm giving it a B-, but I actually think that it could be better and will be getting better.
The way you feel about The Seventh Prince is the way I feel about this one. Mm-hmm. Wholeheartedly enjoyable. I think it's very good. I do. Again, as a Polow and Telle ass anime, very, very for us.
It is a Polow and Telle ass anime.
Very for us type shit, but it's good. It's so good. However, it isn't much. But what it is there is what I love about it the most. The fact that it respects my time when I'm watching it. Like it doesn't, even though there is not much story there, it's still progressing very, very well, smooth. Great cast of characters, very funny. However, I get it though. Objectively, it's a C for me, and it's a C for me for the same reasons why The Seventh Prince is for you. Is the story isn't much there, right? Like it's just not much. And right now, it seems like it's getting to the place where there is like this is the turning point, right? But right. This is what midterms is. It's the precursor to how we feel about it, or how we feel about it up to this point, the gauge, if you will. It's fun, man. I enjoy it.
It is.
I'm going to recommend it if you enjoy the shows that we enjoy. But if you're not really into isekais or stuff like, because there's a lot of people that's not. There's a lot of people that hate it. Don't watch it because there's better isekai than this.
Yeah.
That I would recommend.
Don't let Twitter turn you away from it too much because it's not as bad as they might say or whatever.
Oh, are they? They talking bad about it?
They're talking about the whole, you know how goblins do the graping thing. But like hasn't happened in this show because the human who was once was once a human decided that's not okay. So yeah,
not even a reason to speak on it.
Right, you know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure. All right, tell me how you feel about Spice and Wolf as somebody who's watching it brand new.
Immediately starting off, chill. Because like it was new for me because I didn't have the previous. To me, this feels more supernatural, right? And when we talk about the horror supernatural genre, this one feels more supernatural. Now, I do, in the beginning, I found this more of the, I'm saying magic's power is omnipotence kind of feeling where I'm turning on and it's just, I feel like I'm just vibing with what's going on. I'm watching and the story as it progresses.
This is
I'm
watching fantasy, by the way.
Yeah, but that's how I felt, only for the fact of like this is a like, you know, it's supposed to be like this deity / spiritual. So that's why in my head I equate it to supernatural, which I understand it is fantasy indeed. But the show, it what I'm getting from these characters in the relationships is mostly about the fact that how the author builds these characters. They layer them extremely well, and it's actually the most enjoyable part about this show because the characters are so telling without being extremely telling. And I say that and I always have to make sure I'm pronouncing the name properly. Give me 1 second. Where is it? I just had it click.
Hollow or Craft?
Hollow. I love Hollow.
Yeah.
Obviously,
she's incredible.
But what I love about Hollow is how she talks about the world. I love feeling like we're developing the world through her eyes, you know, because we're humans, right? We can relate extremely well to how another human relates to their world or whatever, right? But this is not just directly a human. So I love how she fills out how she, and when I say fill out, she talks about, builds the understanding of how she has the relationship with society and people as a whole, her followers, all these things, right? But the world, that's just how my favorite part, how she builds out that conversation, that relationship, and it's been enjoyable so far.
Great.
So, grade, I'm actually giving this one A-.
Yeah, and that's the consensus, even.
Oh, really?
Amongst the internet, pretty much. Yeah, this would be like if we were starting the podcast. What was 5 years ago, or however long it's been, almost 6 years ago. And you told me, Polow, create your top 10 slice of life list. This would have been in it. The original version. That's how good it is. And just mind you, everything that happened up until this point is only 6 episodes deep. There's 25 within this show. So you can only imagine where that goes. And while to clarify, I consider this fairy tale, right? Mm-hmm. Fairy tale falls under the fantasy for me in particular. But again, Hollow she's one of the best and waifus of all time, only because of the way she acts. And the way she acts is very straightforward, not being shy about how she's feeling or how she feel. You can tell she's experienced with time. Like, you can tell she's older than Craft. Her knowledge is there. And the way she talk about her experiences and being Hollow, which is the wolf deity, it's the wolf deity of harvest of wheat or some shit like that specifically. But it's it's very captivating watching her and Craft together, actually. Especially the sewer scene. The sewer scene was by far one of my favorites, and it was my favorite back then, and it's my favorite now again. It's even better now because she looks better as her other self. It's incredible. I give this an A only because it's a classic. It's literally a classic for a reason.
Hard to say only. It deserves an A, bro.
No, did I say only? I definitely didn't mean to put that there.
Okay, my bad.
No, that's my fault. Yeah, I'm glad you stopped me because this is definitely an A, worthy of it. That's why it's a classic. Okay. Unnamed Memory. A big surprise to both of us, I think. This show is spectacular. I think so far, right? I have a favorite female character right now this season. My favorite female character this season is Haruto from A Condition Called Love. That's my favorite female character right now. She's adorable. She's sweet. She's nice. She's just a great girl. My favorite male character is Oscar from Unnamed Memory, and it's mostly because of his demeanor, the way he try to, as the kids say, riz up to Tanasha. It's so funny. I love Oscar as a character because of just the way he moves. It's just great. I think he's the best male character this season by a long shot. But also this story in particular is it commands my attention. Now we only on episode 5 of this particular show because it came out a week later than everything else. But doesn't it feel like we have so much going on in just 5 episodes so far?
It was that first episode, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
And the first episode wasn't an extended episode, I don't think, but it just gave us a great amount of information. Well,
it built well. It built very well. I'm gonna give this show a B. I like it a lot. I can't quite give it an A only because of it's not quite at the midway point, I guess. I don't know. That's my excuse.
Emotionally, I'm giving it an A. 100%. I'm giving it an A, and I say that because so I understand that Oscar is it. Well, I understand that he's your favorite male MC. Tinasha, she the one. She is my favorite woman protagonist this season so far. And for all the same reasons that you say about Hollow, she is completely aware of like every circumstance, and I even love her I guess her personality to want to take on the problem herself, even though she's provided with assistance, she's provided with help, she's provided with understanding. The character in itself comes across as this like almost otherworldly powerful character, right?
Facts. Even
in the circumstance where we have this character who's been blessed in a sense and has this ridiculous amount of power, she stands completely and separately like different amongst any other character we've seen so far on the show. But you also have the romance where it's funny because he's like pressuring her a bit, right? And I hate to say that she doesn't seem completely opposed, but I do love the kind of like banter and back and forth conversation. And I wouldn't even say it's banter because they're not like fighting or arguing anything, but the conversation they have back and forth amongst each other just seems so natural. It feels realistic and genuine. So I give it a B+.
Clean.
I want to give it an A, but I think we need to see a little bit more.
Let's pseudo rapid fire some of these because we are going long on time here.
I know, bro. We spitting.
We are definitely spitting. But let's go. An Archdemon's Dilemma on How to Love Your Elf Bride. I like this show a lot. I am going to give it a C, but I'm only going to give it a C because, like, I feel like this is again another one of those shows I can't hardly recommend to everybody, but I thoroughly enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, Archdemon is definitely a C, but it is to me it's great, and I love even when this is a couple episodes back, but the betrayal part, come on, bro,
fire!
I was like, come on, man, I was like, yo, actually pretty solid, and I love, and I know even the relationship now to me has grown so much more.
Yes,
yeah, bro. So I understand where Polow is, so C makes sense. Yes, so I'm giving it a C too.
Reincarnated as a Slime season 3. I'm going to give this an A. Easily A. It's been great. Maybe we should talk about this in spoiler talk in the second half of the show because we haven't gotten a chance to discuss it yet, but it's great. It's so great. Kaiju No.8, I'm going to give it A. It's best intro of the season so far, 100%. And again, even though it's very tropey with the shonen stuff, I love everything about it so far. Minus that one episode. That one episode is what's keeping it from getting the A+. How you feel about Kaiju?
Kaiju No.8, easy A. It's delivered on everything, and I'm like I said, I know I'm way more into the shonen than Polow. So easy A for me, bro. Easy A. Absolutely
love it. Yatagarasu, the Raven does not choose its master. You know what? And shockingly enough, I'm going to give this one an A too. I thoroughly enjoy this one. And again, even though it's getting more and more closer to that predictable thing I'm thinking of, I love this show a lot. I love this show a lot.
Yeah, it delivers a lot on that political intrigue that we're missing now because we don't have Apothecary Diaries. But the way they carry out also still, like I said, the relationships and even the surprise we get in this most recent episode with old boy pulling up to where he shouldn't be pulling up to. Yeah, I'm also going to give it an A. I wasn't expecting to like this one until I liked it.
Yeah. Jellyfish Can't Swim, one of my favorite shows this season. I'm giving it a B+. Great cast of characters. I talk about how I'm just not into certain things, right? Like I'm not into boy love or girl love. I'm not into idol stuff. I'm not into music, musicals or whatever. This has all of it, and I'm loving all of it. Everything about this show I absolutely love. I'm going to give a B. Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night. One of my favorites.
Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night for me is amazing. This is one that I almost kind of wish I had chosen as a sleeper. Yeah. Because I feel like this is an A. And I'm gonna be real with you. I definitely think it's an A. I love this. I love what we're getting in story right now. I love what we're getting for pacing. Bro, I love this most recent episode.
Great.
To me, yeah, I got to give it an A. Just because I feel like it hasn't let off the gas since it started.
Thanks. The Newgate, Polow and Telle last anime. We talk about how much we enjoy it so very much. I'm enjoying it even more now that I know that that everything is starting to come together now even more. I actually like this show a lot. I'm going to give it a C+. Again, I'm giving it a C only because I know it's not going to be for everybody, but for me, it's a good show, great show actually.
So you gave it a C+. Newgate for me is one of those shows that is, yes, it's a Polow and Telle anime. But I actually think it's going to get, I from what I can see here and how the characters are establishing a relationship in this most recent episode, I feel like it's going to get better. I understand where you stand with the C+. I'm going to give it a B- because I feel like it's enjoyable. It's so
more enjoyable than the Seventh Prince for you.
It's not that it's more enjoyable. I just think that the Seventh Prince, the story hasn't actually built to where they're going to make a move, but this one specifically is, and it could be just because this most recent episode has done something to push the story a bit more forward that I feel like the Seventh Prince hasn't quite committed to yet. Okay. So this one I'm going to give a B-.
Okay, interesting. Go-Go Loser Ranger. I'm going to let you jump this one off.
Go-Go Loser Ranger is heat. No, so Go-Go Loser Ranger, this is that anti-hero storyline that I love so much. This is literally my bag right here. Everything I love in an anti-hero. I actually think that especially with the following of this most recent episode, it's gotten better. So my rating for Go-Go Loser Ranger is a B+.
Yeah, with this episode it definitely got better, but for me it's a C only because it's just not for me. Sentai stuff is not for me, and in particular the comedic beats of it, which was very few and far between this particular episode, hence why this episode was much better. But it stopped it from being a D for me personally to a C, because I did not like the first five up until the first five four. The first four up until this I wasn't enjoying, only because it was too much yapping and comedic beats that just wasn't funny to me. Wow,
I can feel that.
Wow, the few dark bits that this show should have leaned on is very good, like very fucking good.
It shifts the whole dynamic of the show.
Yeah, it definitely shifts the whole dynamic of the show. It makes it good, but the comedic beats, it just don't fit. I don't think for this particular story. I'm not having fun with that part. But yeah, moving on to Mission Yozakura Family. This is our bag. The problem is it didn't do it's doing what I hope it didn't do, and that's like the smaller stories to being added into the main episode. I was hoping they made that the separate little mini series that they got running congruent with Mission Yozakura Family, but that's not the case. So unfortunately, the pacing is thrown off a little bit for me personally, because where it's going to go, because we read it, because Mission Yozakura Family was our first mic check manga ever. So if you go back to like, I think episode 10 of the podcast 5 years ago, whatever it is, we have some episodes where we talk about Mission Yozakura Family early manga. This is like the pacing just, it don't feel right because again, I know where it can go, and if it just flows with the main story and take it there, it could be great. So unfortunately, even though it's one of our favorites, it's our personal favorite, I'm giving it a C, only because the pacing of it to me is fucked up.
And I can agree with that because that was like a third of the episode.
Exactly.
That was a lot of episode to do. While the main story and crux of the show, I really, really enjoy.
So good.
When you take a third of the episode to do nonsense, which, let's be real, it's not necessarily nonsense. It's
all
just
a part of the training.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not the main story beats that we were hitting for. So, would you give it a C plus?
Just a C.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C too.
Which is sad to say because we fucking love Mission Yozakura Family.
And it's not to say it's not enjoyable. I do enjoy it when I'm watching it, even the moments that we had. But if I'm looking at it objectively, right? Like, I didn't think this episode was the worst, but a third of the episode going to that, and they gave us a whole break segment in between. That was crazy.
Didn't feel right.
So I watched it and I'm just like, this is not supposed to be right here. So yeah, I gotta also agree. C is where it's sitting.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do the little mini series with that kind of stuff in it, and then just kind of move the story forward like they did the first 2 or 3 episodes. But I digress. As an aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. I'm giving it an A. I don't have anything negative to say about this show. Every episode has been fantastic, damn near perfect for me in my opinion, as far as pacing, as far as characters, as far as animation. It's gorgeous. I love this show.
Same, exactly that. And I lean heavily on the characters of this show, and our MC being able in his assertion of understanding characters in this show. The father, a lot of this show is amazing, and then this most recent episode showing a warrior's face and that everything, bro, insane. So yeah, I also agree. It's an A. It's actually kind of sick how I wasn't expecting this to be this.
Quick rapid fire, real quick on the shows I dropped. God's Game. That's a D.
D minus.
Banished from the Heroes, so I lived whatever the fuck it's called. F. That gets a complete F for me. Just because I dropped them, and if I dropped them both, God's Game is a little bit better, but still not much. Grandpa and Grandpa Turn Young Again for me, just to wrap up these last 2, for me is a C. Again, I know I am the champion of this show. I love this show, and even this most recent episode is really good for me too. But I get why it won't be liked by everybody. I still love it. I love these characters so much, and I'm rooting for them. What it does for me though is it puts, and why I love it probably is it put life in perspective, right? Because hearing slight spoilers, but hearing one of the granddaughters talk about how by the time I'm an adult, they might not be around anymore, and the way they trying to enjoy this time that they have with this young body again, it's heartwarming. It's touching. It's very touching. So I think Grandpa and Grandpa Turn Young Again is a great show. Only reason why I give it a C is because it's very satire-y and just silly. And it's not for everybody. It's a very particular group of people that I could recommend it to, but for most, I wouldn't. Objectively.
I agree. I have been enjoying it more lately, but the show, I know it's not my cup of tea specifically, but it's not like, I don't even think it's a bad show. And I think that for some people, a C might definitely be too low, because if you just turn it on and just sit there and just want to enjoy something, it actually does have a lot of really enjoyable aspects of it. A C, I think, is where I have to be objectively, but I do think that easily this could be higher than a C for someone who just wants something to turn on and enjoy. A wholesome and happy with some serious beats and deep moments, because those moments definitely get deep on this one.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, Jobless Reincarnation is a plus probably for both of us.
I give it 110%.
Yeah, 110%.
It's overachieving.
Oh God, it's so good. I can't wait till Rob Stone catches up. It's gonna be great. Yeah, that was a long grading system. Let's give our overall scores, or overall grades, I should say, for the spring midterms. Man, when I think back, right, I'm gonna just go mic check waifu.com, and I'm gonna type in midterms in our search bar, and I'm gonna see what we gave last season. Yeah, 2024 winter midterms. Looking at the scores, overall score, we both gave it an A. Well, you gave it an A minus, I gave it an A. That was a big season. Dangers in My Heart, 7-time loop, stuff like that. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Fall midterms for 2023. You gave it a B plus. I gave it a B. That was the Berserk and Gluttony, MF Ghost, My Ordinary Life, 100 Girlfriends, Freerin. And then Summer. Summer, we both gave it a B. That was my team. That was our rewatch. We didn't. That was Reign of the Seven Spellblades and Zom 100 type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Rent a Girlfriend as well. Damn. I only bring these up to try to put into perspective. Damn, these go back pretty far. But to put it back into perspective, where I sit as far as those seasons compared to this one, and bro, it's hard to grade this one. And I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe I feel that way is because it's a lot more good stuff that are like A-B range than it is C and D, I guess. But there's no Freerin. There's no Apothecary Diaries.
I mean, so true, right? But we do have things like Windbreaker, which I'm not gonna say it is Apothecary Diaries level, but it's up there. We also got right, Orpheum, but we also still have Kaiju No.8, which is also another one that is a little bit more surprising than expected this season. And not to even like I said, we do have some really, really good, mad, decent things this season as well. So I think realistically, this is going to be one of those seasons that ends up evening out into. I mean, I don't want to give my score yet until you're ready. But
let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, let me see. I'm just making sure some other stuff that I'm adding up the things I know I'm going to watch, not going to watch because I thought they were bad. Like Viral Hit, which I think is bad, but I am going to finish it. Yeah, it's actually pretty poop. I'm not gonna finish God's Game We Play because that was just too bad. So I think that's an even worse score. And then what was the other one?
Banished from
from the Banished Former Hero. Yeah. This season, I am actually going to give, not including the returning things, because there's some good stuff this season. I'm gonna give it a B.
So looking at
I'm a because I got a couple A's. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm gonna stick with a B, bro. I'm gonna stick with a B.
I'm gonna give it an A minus. I'm only gonna give it an A minus because of the few things that I dropped, and the few C's that I have. Being Mission Yozakura, Grandpa, Grandma, Remaster, Mysterious Disappearances, Go Loser Ranger, Newgate. Yeah, yep. A B minus is. Did I say B minus? A minus.
A minus.
Yeah, A minus is where I'm at there. And again, remember, this is only midway through the season. We didn't talk about Demon Slayer. We didn't talk about My Hero. There are shows that I'm binging, like Irregular Magic High School that I'm binging later. Misfit Demon King I'm binging later. Data Live 5 I'm binging later. Konosuba I'm binging later. Yeah, I'm good with that. A-. All right. Now, spoiler talk. Let's do a short spoiler talk about only 2 shows this week.
My Hero.
No, I don't want to do My Hero. It's never good to talk about. No, it's never good to talk about My Hero when you read it.
Okay,
so I try to avoid that as much as possible.
I'm sorry, Rob. I try to talk about Star and Stripe. I love her.
She stinks.
I love her.
No, I can mention that. I'm gonna mention that in the next half of the show. Just mention it, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it.
I feel you, bro.
Jobless Reincarnation, Turning Point 3, we have to talk about, obviously.
Okay, obviously.
And then, I guess we can give our thoughts on the Demon Slayer. Yeah, let's do that. All right, we'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 253 of My Check Waifu. Now, let's get into the spoiler talk. First, let's do Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer Season 3, the Hashira training arc. Let's give our thoughts on that real quick. The first episode was 48 minutes long and it felt like it was 25. Shit flew by. Everybody that listens to this already knows that the reason why we started this podcast was because of Demon Slayer episode 10, season 1. Okay. That was the reason why we started this podcast. So we have a bias for Demon Slayer, a love for Demon Slayer. And just as I felt about it in season 1, episode 1 is how I feel about it now. It's just great. I fucking love this show so much. And while this also being a very simple shonen anime, I still absolutely love and this is about to sound crazy. It's about to be a double neck. It's about to be crazy. But I love the simple yet complex story within this show. The complex story being Muzan looking for his fucking daylight problem and trying to solve that. But with the points leading up to that, it's all so well structured and good with, Tanjiro meeting with that demon lady and getting like help with Nezuko through her, and now her being introduced to about to go to like the Hashira house basically and study Nezuko. All of it is really fucking dope. And the characters I just love. Absolutely love. Still hates Zenitsu though. But this is a great episode. Great first episode.
What I loved the most about this episode was the ramifications of understanding how serious and important it is that Nezuko conquered the sun.
Yeah.
That was beautiful because it literally changes the whole demon world in a concept, right?
Straight up.
Now, instead of running into demons sparsely, how they literally talked about in previous seasons, demons normally don't group up together. The only ones we saw group together were normally family units, or like we saw with the first fighter group. They were all those were the only times you would get an actual demon core or unit. So seeing that the demons are now less often, but when you do see them, they are congregated. You know what I mean? They're hordes at this point. It's really cool because that means that there was an actual tangible effect on the world for what happened. And people overlook that often, but that was beautiful to me. And just to see that fully play out in this part of the show, and then how we get the training going forward. Demon Slayer, obviously, we have a lot of bias for, but it's always for me about those like you said, simple moments that lead to the complexity.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out the marks. How did the marks come about? What's the lore for the marks? We understand the marks. And they said when you come in contact with someone who already has the mark, the others will grow with the mark, right? They don't understand that Tanjiro got the mark.
No, they do. They mentioned the fact that he was the first person within their time frame to get the mark.
Muichiro who said it?
Huh?
Was it Muichiro who said it? I feel like that's what he was talking about, right?
No.
I remember Muichiro was talking about it, but
no, they mentioned the chick mentioned that because she obviously gets the message. Well, the master, I guess, of all of them gets the message from the crows. The crows obviously told them that Tanjiro had the mark long ago. Yeah. So, but
the show does a very solid, a very good job of prepping us for what's to come. Yep. In a sense. This 48-minute episode, it definitely felt like a 23-minute episode.
That's so cool.
And it sucks because I loved it.
I know, and I wanted more. What I see on Twitter is people complaining about how this is only covering this arc, and this arc was 8 chapters, whatever the case. We're going to be fine. What Demon Slayer does is what I talked about earlier in the show is it doesn't waste our fucking time. I'm tired of shonen trying to waste my time. I'm tired of shows in general wasting my fucking time. If they're doing a fire ass 8 episodes this season, I'm perfectly fine with that. It could be 10, 11, it don't matter. If it's 11 episodes, that's fucking perfect. As long as the story told well and right, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? So I am absolutely looking forward to what's to come. Now, the water Hashira, Giyu, what the hell is his problem?
What
do you think his problem is?
I don't know, but we'll find out next episode. I think that maybe he became a Hashira by different means. Because I remember before, and maybe I when they first met him, he wasn't a Hashira, right?
No, he was.
When we first met him in the very first season, he was. Okay.
They made that clear.
Well, yeah. I knew he was a beast though. He was out here walking on boys. But it has to be something else, bro. It has to be something else, and I'm not sure. I don't know, obviously, because I haven't read it.
Why?
Is it maybe he doesn't want to train because maybe he'll see his master, or
maybe he feels like Tanjiro should be him instead? Like I don't understand. Because if anything, Tanjiro should be the fire, right?
Yeah, because Tanjiro doesn't technically even, I mean, he uses water breathing, but at this point he's about to completely switch to, what is it, sun breathing?
Yeah. Or fire in his case.
Fire, lava breathing? I don't know.
Fire, lava breathing.
Lava breathing? I don't know.
We got a little bit more of your boy, the serpent one.
Yeah, he was fire, but I'm ready to see Zenitsu pop off. But
I'm ready to see this monk pop off.
Hear me out, man. The Hashira, I love all of them in the aspect of like they are so unique. They're all very different characters. They are very different in terms of representation. But yeah, this monk, this solid rock dude with the tears, yo. All I know is he better have more than 3 minutes of shine.
Straight up.
Because bro is for him to tell everybody, hey yo, we doing this meeting, and they all just shut up and do the meeting. I'm like, yep, he gotta be a demon. And when I say demon, he gotta be a demon. I need to see him fighting upper one. I need him to be like, I'm throwing hands with you, and maybe even you, because he seemed built different.
Yeah. I like the little montage they gave of the different types of training that they're doing to the Demon Corps, or the what are they called? Demon Slayer Corps?
Demon Slayer, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. I love the way the Mist Hashira kind of broke down how he felt about his mark coming out and shit like that, and that was really cool. It's
that was beautiful.
It's sad to see the master go. He's one of the best dub voices, because he's Matthew Mercer. So of course he kills it. But it looks like he's about to die, and it's about to be some crazy shit. I wish we know more about him, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get it
eventually. I
think this season, because of the implications of his seemingly being his last moments. But I need to know what my gut check is that he's brothers with old boy Michael Jackson. Somehow, some weird way, they're like related, but he is more human than demon. That makes sense.
Oh, so you saying they brothers?
That's where my mind is. Like they're like, yeah. Either that or like his son or some shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere he's a part of that
like
family tree.
Family tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, so Muzan might be, cause I don't think, and the only reason I'm gonna disagree with what you're saying is because I do think it's more like he's the son, right? And I think that it definitely could be like the brother, and he's like a descendant of like Muzan's brother or something like that. I think 100% I can see that, because I don't think that they have an extended lifetime, because he did talk about his master before him.
Right.
So I don't think he has an extended lifetime like that.
So hear me out then. Hear me out.
And he apparently is dying at a relatively young age.
Hear me out. He is from the family tree. He's like one of Muzin's, I guess you can call it experiments from way back in the day, but brought down. And though they only live to be a certain age because of they're all a part of that tree of experiments that Muzin was doing to try to find, the the capability of being brought out within the sun, but he basically, his ancestors started the Demon Slayer Corps, essentially. But he's all a part of that.
And that would make a lot of sense because it also would tie into why they know so much about how to kill them.
Exactly.
So maybe he could be part demon and their family just passes down the... Maybe that is why. Maybe their family passes down some, like maybe some demon cells or whatever, and that's why they contract this virus and they die all the time. I'm not sure, but I do think that's a fire. I think you're onto something with that one.
That's an idea. All in all, great first episode. I'm looking forward to where this season take us. This seemed like it's going to be a fun one. Maybe Tanjiro starts to train with them, like in a more in-depth way than the Demon Slayer Corps is. It's going to be like a technique type deal or a hyperbolic time chamber type situation or something.
Yeah, I think they'll make it obvious that like Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro, and the Wind Hashira's brother, and the Butterfly or Venom Hashira or Insect Hashira's training. All the trainees are going to be like leveled up to basically a Hashira. Mm-hmm. The Hashira are going to be basically leveled up to like number 3 or number 4 Upper Moon. And then Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu just gonna pop off. They're gonna be a little bit tougher than all the other base level people, maybe. I don't know, bro.
I'm tired of seeing them get their ass kicked, but which is what I love about Demon Slayer, because it started off with Tanjiro. It started with Tanjiro really getting smoked 90% of the time. To now, to the point where from him getting smoked completely to him having a better chance, to him getting even better, to him actually being able to slay. You know what I'm saying? And it getting better and better and better.
About that. They talked about in this episode specifically saying that the direct combat makes you feel it in your bones, like you learn it from the actual, you absorb it from the action of doing it,
the experience.
So that was dope because he was listening in on, or he was figuring out, they were talking about how to get the mark or whatever. But yeah, that was literally it. You gain that experience from actually doing it.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great intertwined story and conversation. It was like a perfect episode, to be honest. Okay. Now, to speak on My Hero real quick, okay? And shout out to Rob J. I talked to him about it on Twitter a little bit, but I tweeted, the only good thing about Stars and Stripes was her theme. Her theme was fire. Everything else, she was exactly what I thought was going to happen, which is absolutely annoying. She was going to get smoked super early on. She got smoked super early on. But but not for naught, right? She did damage, essentially. But what I said to Rob J was, yeah, she did damage, but it seemed like she caused more harm than good. And the reason why she caused more harm than good is, yes, she gave them an extension so that the students can train, right? So she gave them more time so the students can train, while now All For One has to basically build back up some of his ability, his power or whatever. Cool. But she also stopped the other countries from being able to assist Japan. So now all Japan has is the students, basically, and the current heroes that they have in the country. And it's only a week. Like, what the fuck are these students going to do in a week with only the heroes of Japan? So again, countries like, listen, if Stars and Stripes can get smoked, we ain't standing no chance. We need to stay back here and protect our own.
She was considered the strongest.
So I'm like, well, it's kind of more harmful than good. But then Rob J, he talked me down from a ledge, because nobody hyped me up for Stars and Stripes other than the show itself, because of the way season 6 ended. The 7. The way season 6 ended made it seem like she was about to fucking pop off. Like, Stars and Stripes is the number 1 hero in America. Oh, it's about to go crazy. And while she went crazy for 2 seconds and then did what she did, which again, I'm not taking away what she did and the importance of that. I know it's important. I know it's huge what she did, but I do think it felt more harmful than good. And even though what she did was crazy, it was actual, like, it's fucked. Like, you're fucking up his powers, his powers that he worked so hard to get. You're taking that away from him, essentially. I understand the ramifications of that. I do feel like it still wasn't as great as I thought it should have been with somebody who's supposed to be the number 1 hero in America, in the biggest, most free country in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt underwhelming, and I was disappointed. Yeah, but that's all I got to say about My Hero. But like I was saying about Rob J talking me off the ledge, he said it'll pay off in the end. That's all I need to hear. That's all you had to say was that it'll be worth it. Just stick with it. I'm good then. That's all I needed because I was ready to throw shit because of what the show did to me as far as hyping it up. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a Star and Stripe stan. And while I understand, yes, we only had 2 episodes of her, which I think we literally only had 3 chapters of her. To me, it's very much so about the impact of it, right? Because let's take out who Star and Stripe actually is, outside of like what she represents, right? Not her character and tie to All Might, because that's not as important to me as like her tie to the actual world. And that her tie to the world is that if All Might wasn't able to do it, the only person we could assume do it would be Star and Stripe. Right. And she failed, but she did more damage than anyone else essentially in what she did, in a sense. And I think that when I was reading it, I was like, man, that was crazy. And then I started to tie the emotion back to it of the, this is who she was. This is All Might's predecessor, or not predecessor, but All Might's protege, and all these different things. Like, damn, that's crazy. They really did that. But then I think about and the character tropes and story tropes and shit. Y'all really just brought the world's strongest hero to fight the final villain, the final bad guy, and have her get dogged like that, right? Right. Now I get it. I get why they do that in the stories to demonstrate how strong someone is. I get that they made her impact all these things. I love Star and Stripe for her impact. And I really want to see her do more, especially because her power is literally so cool. OP. Yeah. It's crazy. She gets to make a demand of anything to any 2 things is insane. But we did get to see that get cut short, but we also know that at least
she bought a week.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to deal with that for a week. Now I get it though. I get wholeheartedly why you said what you said, because I also see the episode the same way, and it's like, man, what happens with Star and Stripe makes it get cut short so easily. Yeah. All that hype and impact that she had, but I'm standing on the impact that she has, and it's like I feel like she thoroughly impacted the world, so to speak, in this show with its actions.
But now we lose support of the other countries.
Facts, and that's also the other BS.
Devastating.
But if she didn't show up, what was going to happen? Were they going to show up to support?
Yes. Essentially.
If America doesn't show up to fight the number 1 hero.
No. What I'm saying is if she showed up, if she was able to get there, like she never even got there. Actually, if she would have got there and gave it time, let the other countries come in for support, it would have been a whole different story told. Yeah,
she didn't ask for backup though. She literally went without any consent. So you're right. She wasn't going to have a bat's, what do they call it? A bat's chance in hell, whatever they call it. Or snowball's chance in hell, regardless of what it is. She went without consent, without anyone guiding her, without providing wisdom. She just went out there and said, hey, we about to go make this move. And while that can be admirable, she still got put in a body bag. Well, she got put into a Ziploc bag, or whatever you want to call it, whatever's left of her.
She was cremated and tossed in the ocean, like my grandma.
Yeah, blown away in the wind. Yeah. But and that's the only part that sucks about this, is that was everything we got for this build up.
That's it. It was very lackluster for me, personally. But I loved it. Moving on to Jobless Reincarnation Turning Point 3. Now, when I saw the intro, I'm like, oh, so we still gonna be in a slice of life mode for this turning point. That's interesting. And lo and behold, we was.
Got him.
But as crazy as this might sound, Telle, this is the most impactful turning point for me. Because this is the spoiler alert for Jobless Reincarnation. But this is the point where he decides to go against the man God for the first time. And that pisses me off. Like at the end of this episode, when he said what he said to Norn, I slapped my forehead so fucking hard it echoed throughout my house. I was pow, because I'm so mad because, dude, listen, for every time you listen to the man guy, it paid off. Every single time. Wow. Oh my God. Every time you listen to him, it paid off. And you decide to go against him during the most important time in your family's life. You're a husband and now about to be a father. And you mean to tell me you're going to go against that? Yes, I know it's your mother. I know it's to save your mother. But I am not leaving my wife and my unborn kid to save my mother. Like and y'all know how I feel about my mom. I would not, I can't do that. I can't. This is my family that I am a part of, that I want to be there for, that I want to support wholeheartedly. And then the man guy told me it's a bad idea. If the man guy tells me it's a bad idea, guess what? It's a bad idea. It's not a letter from Paul. So he is like, you got to assume that if it wasn't from Paul, then it's not important. It blew my mind. This episode blew my mind. It, as much as I love this show and I still find it to be perfect, a perfect 10 out of 10 show, that moment, that option pissed me off so bad, but that just goes to show how invested I am in the characters and within the show and the story itself. So he's about to be a dad to go get milk and cigarettes for about a year, because it takes a year to get there. It's going to take a year to get back. So by the time you get back, your fucking daughter or son is going to be 2 years old or whatever, and you're going to miss all that.
Siblings going to be 2 years older.
Yep, siblings going to be older. It's a bad idea. The worst turning point, the harshest turning point of them all.
Can I tell you what I'm thinking about?
Yeah,
what I was thinking about?
Please do.
I'm like, Rudy, you know, be smart, bro. Help your friend develop her summoning spell. She's working on summoning organic things.
Oh, he left her too.
Figure that shit out. Get to where you're going and make it so that you have a portal or you can teleport back home. So if you're gone for a year, at least you can come back instantly from the teleportation. I'm just like, maybe that's where they're going with this. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And I know that now. This is me being optimistic in the show. Now, I have no doubts in my mind at all for the writing of this, just like I had no doubts in my mind for Freerin. Because when we were at episode 25 of Freerin, we were like, there's no way this can keep going. This is almost done. They got to stop this at some point.
Good point.
I have faith in the writing for this show. But yo, I don't have faith in Rudy's decision, bro. I don't have faith in Rudy's decision. I feel like bro just pissed on his life.
It's so stupid. It's such a bad move. Like, and it's all because Norm was being, she's being, I mean, I get her perspective of it, right? Like, Norm, this is her mother and father. And all she known is her father, pretty much. So, and then for her to know that this letter came to Rudy, who is a very strong mage.
Highly talked about, boasted about.
I don't know, man. I just don't know about. It's the wrong decision, and even before, like when everybody was telling him not to go, like Sophie's grandma, like everybody's saying like no, don't do it, and then Zenobel's like, yeah, do it, and he's like, I'm not gonna go. When he made it, I'm like, yes, thank God. Now we can figure out this other shit that man got talking about with the animal chicks, like knock one of them up. Like, no, fuck no. Like,
and that's not even what I think is what was like a red flag in this, right? What I felt like got me was that if you paid attention previously, he kept talking about how I'm not gonna leave you again. I'm not gonna lose you again. I'm not gonna teleport myself away again, etc., etc., etc. Bro, you bout to though. And granted, I get it. It's serious. It's important. It's family.
But it's not even from.
Right.
It's immediate family. Let it come from them first and then go. If you're going to go.
You gotta hope that when you get back, your sister and finish your Ruger book and talk about all his accolades and goodness. It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot he's gonna miss out on. I didn't think he was gonna go alone. I didn't.
The only thing that's important about this, and not saying that anything else is not important, right? Like him leaving his family is very important. It's like a terrible idea. But the most important piece about this turning point is going against the man God. Mm-hmm. Going against the man God will, if he says it's a bad idea, you will regret it. Mm-hmm. If he says that, and everything that he's told me so far has been beneficial to my life. Everything has. Why would I go against that now?
And you say regret, it leads me to believe things like this. Something's gonna happen to Sylphie. Something's gonna happen to baby. Maybe he's gone and we get a 5-year time skip. And another major event happens. Who runs into another Dragon King or some shit like that.
Or the
Dragon King, yeah. And we have a situation where his child, I don't know, bro. I'm just like, maybe his child grows up resentful and anything. And he has his power plus Sylphie's power. So he's an actual literal power demon. There's anything, bro. And that's what scares me, is that when he said you're going to regret it, I didn't take it in the sense of like there's going to be harm done directly to Rudy. I took it as like it's going to be something like you missing out on something that's like fatherhood. You're missing 100%. Out on your wife, or something might happen to your wife while you're gone. You know what I mean? So that's what scares me. I don't think that he's saying you leaving. And then he might even get there and it might even be too late, bro. It takes a year to get there.
Yes,
it takes a year to get there without even any kind of understanding of it's going to be fine for a year.
A year, bro.
They said send backup. It's going to take me a year to get there. It ain't like I can fly.
And by the time you get there, by the time a year happened, either somebody going to be dead. Like it's so dumb. It's a dumb move. And it's all because of Norn. Norn was the one that convinced him. Because he was not going to go.
He just got that relationship with her. He don't want to break it already. He wants to make his sister feel fulfilled.
You're right. I am strong. You're right. I can do this. I'm like, no, this is not the time to go against the man guy. Like the worst time possible when you have a wife and a kid. If it wasn't for the kid, okay, take Sylphie, won't you? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Let Ariel know, like, hey, listen, I got to go do this.
But even then, right, I'm thinking, they say send help. They ain't say come by yourself, my guy. And I get it. You are mad strong, but you have connections with Princess Ariel, who understands that you now are expecting a baby. She told you, your wife, to take 2 years off from work. Say, Princess Ariel, look, I want to be a dad right now, man. But my mom is out there suffering. Can you possibly send out a troop or two? I don't know, a small squadron of like 200 people.
That killed
me. Joking, that's a battalion, but you know.
That killed me, man. That honestly killed me.
Yeah.
Man, honestly though, Till.
What's that?
Y'all should follow me on Twitter. I'm at Polow Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Italiano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
Hey, my bad for keeping you.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu. that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?